Hey folks, it's Dale with Manor Road Studio. Again, this is day 3, if you remember what I was talking about the other day. Obviously, we're not at Manor Road. We're at our new studio, East Main Street, and I got Nicci and Chris with me today. We're going to talk about some interesting things. One of the things I want to kind of preface the conversation with is our experience. You know, one thing in life is every single thing that we think is because of something we've experienced. And the only way to expand that, because in the South, it seems like our experiences are very narrow from who you were raised with, what neighborhood you grew up in, what church you went to, what school you went to. Everything narrows your experience. And one of the things that I hope we get to talk about today is how to kind of grow that, expand a little bit. So many people waste a lot of life contracting instead of expanding or just staying where they are. I don't deserve to be any better. The stories could go on and on and on. Nicci does something that I found quite interesting. It's called forest therapy.
Correct.
And what is it?
So forest therapy is similar to forest bathing, which is a practice that originated in Japan in the early 80s. They recognized and studied the health benefits of time spent in nature. So when we go on a forest therapy walk now here, it's really just an opportunity to slow down and connect with the world around you.
Chris, you've been on one of them. What was your experience?
I've been twice. It was a very meditative, very cleansing experience for me, getting back in nature and getting quiet and quieting my mind so that I could meditate to know what the forest and the trees were saying to me.
Hey, that's foreign to some people, I understand.
But it was just a really good time where I could get quiet because we've had so much going on with getting one house ready to show, moving into the other house, and getting Matt and Allison moved, and we've just ran.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so nice to get peaceful for a moment.
One of the things that really strikes me about this is we live in the South. I'm not sure where you're from. And this goes so much further than just saying, you just need a dose of Jesus. Okay, that doesn't fix anything. And
But you might find Jesus in the forest.
I'm not saying you won't. And maybe that's where you find Jesus. But y'all know what I'm talking about. So what made you want to do it to start with? What's the genesis of it?
Yeah, for me, I found so much healing from trauma just being in the forest. It felt almost magical, honestly, to get out there. Either by myself, with my dogs, or I especially find it healing to be in the forest with other women. There's something about it. In forest therapy, we say the forest is the therapist, the guides just open the doors.
I like that.
Yeah. And it's true. If you're, if you're open, or even if you're not, just going for a walk in the woods or hearing the wind, all those things can be very healing.
And for people that think that life is, I guess when it comes to faith, is binary, meaning you're either religious or you're secular, or religious and pagan, however you want to say it. But I don't see this as interfering in any belief. What I think this can do is open so many doors to healing that are closed now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, Chris. You speak, say something.
Well, I think and to being out in nature and in the forest, it brings you closer to your creator, in my opinion.
Right.
So it's a different situation, and you're looking at the forest in a different way.
And, nature therapy or forest therapy may not be something for everybody, which is cool. But one thing that is for everybody is the opportunity to expand where you are in life. There's no need in being, what we just said earlier, a cookie cutter. You don't have to be that. You don't have to be molded to what you've been in the past. And regardless where you are socioeconomically, religiously, what neighborhood you live in, what city you're in, it doesn't matter. You can still change, Nicci. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
That you almost felt guilty for. I want to change. I want to be different. Am I getting that anywhere close to right?
Yeah. It's really a permission thing. I didn't feel permission
that you had to give yourself.
Right.
Okay.
To just go ahead and change, to be different from who I had portrayed myself to be or who others maybe thought I was.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that, there's an old saying that says the way you see the world isn't the way the world is, it's the way you are. And so, Chris, when people see you and meet you, do you feel like they're meeting the authentic Chris?
I really think it depends on the situation.
Okay.
And not saying that I act different one place or the other, but when you're kind of hurried in passing, if somebody comes in the store and I'm helping them real quick and they may not be getting that, I don't know that I'm being
inauthentic, right?
But and I could tell it in the years as a critical care nurse too. When I was talking to a patient or a family, it's like my voice went up and it was a little bit different, Hey, how are you doing? And which was not.
But different circumstances call for a different level of our personality too. So I'm not saying that's inauthentic at all. I think you can be different. And one thing that's important about that, for those of you who know the ALIVE acronym, Authentic, Love, Imagine, Victor, and Evolve, we usually mention that just about every time. And by the way, while you're looking at me, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button now. But so many people say, well, what you see is what you get. This is me. And I've always called bullshit on that. I really do.
If you have to say that, it's probably not true.
You're right. If you're saying, well, what you see is what you get, that's not true. But the question becomes, why does somebody feel like they've got to build that wall up? What makes them want to lock themselves away in a little world and feel miserable? Because, there are people that are miserable in relationships. They're miserable with their job. They're miserable with themselves, the car they drive, the home they live in. Do you feel like that nature therapy can help maybe escapism? Is that right? Or just take a break? I mean,
yeah, I think we get in circular thought patterns. We feel trapped in whatever our situation is, our job or our living situation, whatever that is. But I think that every person who experiences forest therapy, and every time they experience it, it's going to be different. Whatever you're bringing to the forest is going to meet you with that. So.
I love it. I really do. And again, that's kind of permission based. I mean, you got to give yourself permission. But I guess I mentioned this all too much, but you're probably getting to know me. Sometimes I think we've got to step away from church or our religious life to meet who we are. And I'm not saying by no means, give up your network or your church family or church friends, but I'm saying give yourself permission to step away from it and explore what's out there.
But not even church. Maybe it has to do with our family.
Sure.
They think we should be a different way or the community that we're in. There's so many things people are expecting us to live this way and do like this and be this person, and this parent wants me to be a doctor and this parent wants, and that type thing, that we don't know who we really are because we're being who somebody else wants us to be or thinks we should be.
And we spend most of our lives that way. So hopefully that's one of the things as we have conversations here on live, just keep pushing people to bring hope back in their life. And again, just keep trying to evolve. It's tough. I mean, you're still evolving, even though you got in this forest therapy and nature therapy. And Chris, I don't mind bringing this up for a minute. I know you like tarot cards. And what do you get out of it? I guess would be, and you be as terse as you can.
Well, for me, it's more of a means to meditation.
Okay.
Like a journaling prompt or a question, or you asking me a question. The cards come up, and by the meaning of the cards, that kind of stimulates my mind to think.
Right.
And
That's
and
great.
you clear your mind, you start thinking about this, and then you just kind of follow where your mind goes.
You know, one of the things that I was listening to Jay Shetty the other day, who is he's a monastic, and he was talking about how to become free and clear. You know, like we talked about church earlier. You know, praying would be you talking to God, and there's really a little bit of arrogance there if you take God as omniscient, like some people say. But when you're meditating, you're listening. You're not talking. You're listening, and I think that's where the power comes in. Is when you just take time to become one with nature and listen, and all of a sudden you can hear things you couldn't hear before. You can hear the leaves blowing, the grass moving. So, yeah. Any final thoughts? I know we're boring these people to tears. I hope not. I really hope not. But do subscribe anyway. And inside joke, but I'm eating a Rice Krispie treat. That's a joke between us, not y'all. Any final thoughts?
Well, I would say if you're in West Tennessee and you're interested in trying forest therapy, to take a look at my Facebook page or my Instagram page. It's the Restorative Willow. I have 2 walks scheduled right now. One is next Thursday, February 4th at 1 p.m. And then I have one on Saturday, February 13th at 11 a.m.
I'll put the link to her page in the comments down here. Any final thoughts, Chris?
No, I think all of us need a chance to get back to nature, to
When
get
that's
back
true.
and just to meditate. And by meditation, just being quiet for a while so that you can receive whatever it is that the universe needs to tell you.
Now we're going to have some humor here. You know, the other day I thought my camera was off and it wasn't, so I started acting stupid. So this time I'm going to cut it off and say bye. But we're going to stay on here for a few seconds so y'all look silly as you can. See what we're going to cut it off.
Is this a new?
Bam. End stream. We're still here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still here.
All right. Hang on. We're still here.